How's it going, guys? It's Angelo and Chris. We are back again with another episode of Music Monday. We're back in the 1970s decade once again. I know we said we were going to move on last time, but there's some artists that we actually ended up missing, so we want to tie up loose ends and show you all the notable acts that played here. So first off, probably the biggest person that we ended up missing was Billy Joel. He played here in 1975, I believe, but he is in the 1976 yearbook. And what's really interesting is that we actually get a shot of him doing what he does best, playing the piano. Of course, his nickname is Piano Man. And he was just one of the acts that played within this year, because we also have Fleetwood Mac played alongside him, it seems. And what I love most about this is just the shots of them, in this yearbook. It seems like the student photographers for the yearbook, did a tremendous job at being present at the concert, getting them, in action, playing their instruments. So it's pretty invaluable to come back and look at. Moving on to the next act, we're going to go back to 1973 with Beach Boys, and Chris actually found a pretty interesting story attached to this.
Right, Angelo. So in December of 1973, the Beach Boys came to campus, and while I couldn't find much on the concert itself, I did happen to find an interesting unfolding of events that occurred. This person describes this event as a great obstruction of justice. So to sum it up, there was a narcotics agent in the audience via the campus police. And this person entered with only a ticket stub, and the person in the article says that that's not something that normally happens. They don't normally let people re-enter with a ticket stub for security reasons, but they allowed this narcotics agent to do that, obviously, so they could bust people, and students were pretty upset about that. Obviously, students don't like being watched, especially if they're going to do illegal activities such as smoking weed. They don't want somebody watching them and busting them. It's not something that they expected. Though what's even funnier to me was that a week later, in the next edition of the newspaper, this person got a response from somebody else. And they said that they read their letter in the Independent and they disagree with it completely. They thank the narcotics agent, essentially, and say that to them, to quote, "There is no smell which is more nauseating than that of a burning joint. If it weren't for the narc in the audience, a lot of other people would have lit up until the entire auditorium was covered with the smelly, smoky haze, and that they were able to enjoy the concert without getting sick to their stomach." So, kind of funny that, you have two very extremes at this event. You got somebody really upset about the narc and somebody who can't thank them enough, essentially. Although you might be happy to hear that the original person in the article says that it was otherwise a beautiful concert. So, despite the event, despite the narcotics agent, Beach Boys played a great show.
Yeah, and we just want to wrap up by saying rest in peace to Brian Wilson, one of the Beach Boys members who passed away, I believe, earlier this month. So pretty unfortunate to see, but it's great to see that people still, care so much about a band formed so long ago and, had such a cultural impact. So really, really awesome. Anyways, thank you guys for listening, as always, and we'll be back here next week looking at the 1980s. See you then.